Joining us now to discuss the latest developments regarding Celsius's bankruptcy is Thomas Braziel. He's a managing partner at insolvency capital provider 507 Capital. Thomas, thanks for joining us this afternoon. So, this independent examiner report found that in April 2022, Celsius's coin deployment specialist, Dean Tappan, described Celsius's practices as very Ponzi-like. And in some instances, between June 9th and June 12th, Celsius did directly use new customer deposits to fund customer withdrawals requests. Was this a Ponzi scheme?
Oh boy. Thanks for having me on. Good to see you. My connection, I hope, is good, but I'll just go. So the report is, of course, a wow moment. I think we knew there'd be some lightning in it, and I don't think it disappointed. I frankly am about 120, 130 pages in, and there's still more to go. It's almost 600 pages. It's clearly, I don't think she minced her words, the examiner, when she basically called out the Ponzi-like nature of a bank where it's, net interest margin is negative. It's not really a sustainable business. So interesting choice of words.
What are some of the highlights in what you've read so far?
Yeah, I think probably the highlights are the fact that they used new investor money to pay old investor money, the way that the cell token was bought back or used or propped up, probably, and sort of insiders were sort of cashing out at the same time. Some of the internal dialogue about how the cell token was used. All pretty damning. And really one of the biggest things for me is the time of insolvency. Like if you take out the cell token from the calculation of the balance sheet, clearly the debtor, in this case Celsius, was insolvent many, many months, if not years, before
we actually have a tweet that you tweeted out this chart, and you say Celsius, wow, using the examiner's report and excluding cell tokens, it seems Celsius was insolvent as far back as early 2021. Taking a look at this chart, can you explain what's going on here?
Yeah, this is the examiner basically showing the surplus and deficit, as it says at the top, from May 21 until the petition date. And you basically see that, depending upon how you think of solvency and how you think of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, or a bank would think of liquidity and solvency, in many instances, this company was, if you look at bank ratios, this company could have been considered insolvent or highly illiquid based upon, demand deposit needs throughout. I thought it was interesting, her use of some of the bank valuation and solvency and liquidity measures. I'm not a banking analyst expert, but I know enough to have seen those ratios before and the way people think about it. And I think that's appropriate. I mean, this was basically an unregulated crypto bank.
Yeah, the independent examiner was a federal former prosecutor, Shirley Pillay. She said that Celsius's problems didn't start in 2022. Rather, serious problems date back to at least 2020, after Celsius started using customer assets to fund operational expenses and rewards. She also said that despite repeatedly saying that he was not selling Cell, that's Alex Mashinsky, the former CEO of Celsius, right, and despite employees internally saying the token's true value was zero, Mashinsky sold 25 million tokens to the value of at least $68.7 million between 2018 and bankruptcy. Could that be clawed back for creditors?
Yes. Next question. Yes, it's a transaction that will be highly scrutinized, and we kind of knew this was in the cards. We just didn't know how big of or how damning the potential clawback could be. I'm sure he'll have some potential defenses. It wasn't just used for my purpose. I'm sure he'll have defenses, but it's clearly a fraudulent transfer.
There's also an unnamed Celsius manager who said that we spent all our cash paying execs and trying to prop up Alex's net worth in cell token. That's perhaps a few more shades of gray there. Could that be clawed back?
Yes. I think what did the Goldman partner say when he was in front of Congress about someone? Well, I won't use the S word, but he said it's a bad deal, and he said it's on. And I think he leaned into the microphone. He says it's unfortunate that that's in an email, and I think Alex would probably say the same thing. It's unfortunate to see that in an email.
What else did you get from this report that could go into the restructuring and the bankruptcy process?
I think owners of Cell Token are going to have interesting, potential causes of actions against third parties looking at this. The clawback is there. Dollarization of the Cell Token. I think there were some guys this morning who were saying like, hey, given this report, can we turn around and what they were really asking, can we just file a motion for reconsideration or appeal the determination that the creditor deposits are actually owned by Celsius, or the assets are owned by Celsius, and we just have this unsecured claim, this earn account claim. I don't think that's in the cards, but I think it's clearly got people thinking like, hey, look at all the stuff he said on the AMAs, and they asked me anything, and all of the promises that were made, and they're totally in contradiction to the terms of service. But you don't just throw the contract out because someone's in breach of a particular section. I can't. Yeah, that's where I'll leave it.
What are the next steps from here, Thomas?
I think there's a motion for a motion to extend exclusivity that the debtor is looking to file, and I believe I want to say on the 8th. But it's coming up in early February. I don't know how the UCC is going to come out of they basically, I thought that they've intimated that they're in favor of it. Hard to see what the goal is. I mean, the bids have now been leaked, and we see that they're not that interesting compared to liquidation. Creditors have differing opinions, but I think this was also sort of said on Twitter on the Spaces this morning. What is the purpose of the bankruptcy court? Is it to throw up Hail Marys and try to get people 100 cents on the dollar, or to adjudicate an estate, pursue causes of action and get people decent liquidity with the lowest amount of risk? They've already taken enough risk as is. So I think there's a real crossroads at this point. The report's out. There's nothing more to discuss. We've seen the bids. What are we doing? No.
All right. Thomas, we also heard from Pillay. She also uncovered significant tax compliance deficiencies. So again, 600 pages of documents here to uncover. So
I didn't make it to the taxes.
It'll be quite a case to continue looking through. Thomas, thank you so much. That was 507 Capital Managing Partner Thomas Braziel.